Stay calm and understand how much rascality APC government has entrenched in this country, Nigeria, right from 2015 of the late President Muhammadu Buhari down to the second year of Alhaji Bola Tinubu.
Fellow citizens, at the center of this political banditry is the motor park brand of politics, nurtured by the old brigade politicians and in recent times by President Bola Tinubu.
The 10th Senate is now under the fingertips of President Bola Tinubu.
Fellow citizens, at the center of this political banditry is the motor park brand of politics, nurtured by the old brigade politicians and in recent times by President Bola Tinubu. Mr. President, it is through your influence that the Nigerian National Assembly has become a haven for legislative rascality. Mr. President, it's under your watch that the National Assembly has become an extension of the executive, grossly violating the principles of separation of powers and rubber stamping the whims and caprices of your office, all while singing the international anthem of sycophants on your mandate, which shall stand. Mr. President, thanks to your political machinations, Nigeria is now bedeviled by a captured National Assembly, the most ineffective in its checks and balances role since the start of the Fourth Republic. In 2006, the Fourth National Assembly had the audacity to reject the tenure extension bid of a sitting president. In 2010, the Sixth National Assembly summoned the courage to stand against the power hijacking cabal and restore Nigeria to the path of constitutionality by invoking the doctrine of necessity. In 2011, the House of Representatives of the Seventh National Assembly had the courage to elect its leaders, as did the Senate of the Eighth National Assembly in 2015, defying executive interference. This National Assembly, the 10th, has by its unconstitutional endorsement of the President's abuse of powers proven to be the most spineless in our recent history. Through its actions and inactions, the National Assembly has in effect become the 48th member of the President's cabinet. While a cabinet minister by the name of Wኢና, is it Wኢና or WÏKE or WÏKE? Why a cabinet minister has more or less become a third-time state governor in Rivers State, pampered by the indulgences of the president. Recent events have made it clear to Nigerians that had this assembly been in place in 2006, when the third-term agenda was proposed, our democracy would have since morphed into one of Africa's lamentable tales of sit-tight dictatorship. To the president of the Nigerian Senate, who has not heeded the call to subject himself to an unbiased investigation, to clear his name of the allegations leveled against him, and under whose leadership the National Assembly has become a carry-go legislature, hiding under the umbrella of technicalities and a dubious voice voting system, I leave you and your conscience with the words of Frederic Bessières, former deputy of the French National Assembly. He said, and I quote, "When plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it." To the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, under whose brand of politics the institution of legislative oversight is collapsing and our democracy is faced with an existential threat, I say, Mr. President, Nigeria is too delicate for this kind of politics. If this state capture was what you meant by a miracle, it is an anticlimax that can only be counterproductive at the end. I urge you, Mr. President, to think deeply and reflect on these words. No man is wise enough, nor good enough to be trusted with unlimited power. Mr. President, please stop playing govt.
You see all the rascality going on at the legislative arm of the government. Anything Mr. President brings forth, approved. They approved the state of emergency in Rivers State, approved the suspension of Sim Fubara. Look at the shenanigan now going on between Senator Natasha Akpoti and the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio. Look at how they are disgracing Nigeria. It means that court has become invalidated. Court has become nothing. Judiciary is nothing in this country, in Nigeria. You see all these rascalities going on. Mr. President will bring one bill. I want to borrow money. Boom. It is approved. Just to refresh your memories, as cited by Pastor Tunde Bakare, in 2006, when Senator Ken Nnamani was the Senate President, although General Olusegun Obasanjo is still denying that he was not pushing for a third term, but according to the senator, as Nigerians witnessed in that year 2006, when that motion was brought to the Senate, he saw that some members of the National Assembly were already giving up to give their voting and approval for the third term bid. In his wisdom, he decided to adjourn the plenary section. He told the senators to go back to their constituency to get the views of their people so that their vote will be a representation of their people. On coming back after the adjournment, many of them changed their mind. And that was exactly how that third term bid of Olusegun Obasanjo was squashed. Imagine if that is in this year 2025, when the whole world is already moving on. Of course, the 10th Senate would have approved it to the favor of Alhaji Bola Tinubu. Then, in 2010, as cited by Pastor Tunde Bakare, when the doctrine of necessity was invoked by the National Assembly, when Yar'Adua was critically ill and was flown out of Nigeria for medical treatment, he was away between November 2009 down to early 2010, I think around January or February. Just about 109 days. Then in February 9, 2010, the Senate said, no, we have to invoke the doctrine of necessity in order not to create vacuum at the presidency, in order not to create vacuum at the seat of power that be. Eventually, they made a pronouncement that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was going to be the acting president. Immediately, it was effective. That was how Goodluck Jonathan from acting president became the president. If it is in the year 2025 with the 10th Senate, I tell you most solemnly, it will never happen, because it never happened with the administration of the late General Muhammadu Buhari. How many days was Buhari out of office? In fact, cumulatively between 2016 and 2022, Buhari was out of office for about 225 or 226 days. Yes, in 2017 alone, he was out of office for about 105 to 110 days. And nothing happened with the Senate. You know what I mean? Nothing happened with the Senate. The same doctrine of necessity that was invoked in 2010 when Yar'Adua was out of office for just 109 days. It never happened with the case of General Muhammadu Buhari. That is the catastrophe I'm telling you that APC government has entrenched in this country down till this moment. Now, back again in 2011, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan never nominated any Senate president. In fact, the Senate president as at that time was nominated by his people. Nigerian Senate president in 2011 was David Mark. In fact, he was nominated by his party, PDP, before the election now took place, and he won. Now, what happened with the case of Senator Godswill Akpabio? President Alhaji Bola Tinubu nominated Akpabio first and nominated somebody as a deputy even before the election. Now, ask me, how would you now begin to vote against a Senate president that has been nominated by the incumbent president? It is almost impossible in a developing nation like Nigeria, where sycophancy is very prominent, where criminality and rascality thrives in the polity. So when we talk about the state capture in this country, Nigeria, we like to give you some of these fundamental issues, fundamental principles of true democracy that we have once experienced in Nigeria in the past governance, from that of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan down to Olusegun Obasanjo. You see that the Senate was independent of the presidency. independent of the executive arm of government. But today, like Pastor Tunde Bakare has cited, the National Assembly has become an extended arm of the presidency. And that is why there is nothing that Mr. President will do today that the Senate will not support him, because the Senate has been captured. And that is why it has become really very almost impossible and difficult to have a free, fair and credible election under this administration of APC, led government under the leadership of Alhaji Bola Tinubu. I cry for my country because rascality continues to thrive. That is why up to today, all the rascality is going on. You will never see Mr. President talk about it. He will never make a comment. He will keep quiet as if he doesn't know what is going on. He only talks about the things that he has interest in. A typical example is the crisis in Rivers State, because his intention is to capture that very state. Only God knows what they want to do with it, because I know that ЄXP0SÈD Wኢና also has his own, intentions. Then Pastor Tunde Bakare also talked about ЄXP0SÈD Wኢና. Everybody has seen what is going on in Abuja. Land grabbing, allocating land to his sons, to his family members, to his 90-year-old dad, as alleged by People's Gazette and some other, media handles. Mr. President is not saying anything, and nobody will say anything. That is the corrupt nation we are living in. So when you see us criticizing this very government, it's not as if we hate anybody. We don't hate anybody. It's as a result of the rascalities they are dishing out to Nigerians day in, day out. Aside the rascality, the hunger they have thrown this country into. A man who claimed he prepared for 30 years came out on the day of inauguration and screamed, subsidy is gone. Since that very day till today, hunger has been multiplying. Cost of commodities has never come down in Nigeria. I wonder how Nigerians will live through from now till 2027 when the next election will come up. At this point, you guys need to continue to know the truth, and we will continue to x-ray some of these things so that you know the state of the nation we are living in. When we talk about rascality, APC government in the last 10 years has entrenched rascality in this country, Nigeria. At this point, I will allow you guys to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section, and share this video. Man, another person see am. God bless you.